Hey, what's up? Remember, if you like the content, mandatory friends, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. We're back Thursday morning at our regular time. Well, morning if you're on the West Coast, afternoon if you're on the East Coast. So remember, we're doing this every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. This is our time slot. This is where you can find us every week. And we do appreciate you if you hit that like and subscribe button. If you haven't, please do, because it helps the channel grow. We're also on the audio side. And remember, you can always leave a rate and review. Give us a 5-star. That helps the channel grow as well. If you've already done that, thank you so much. Remember, this is an interactive show, so we want to hear from you. So if you got any questions or comments, drop them into the chat. And if you're watching this later on, still drop them in the chat, because we see all your comments, we see all your questions, and we can get to them on another time. Brian, we should probably even do an episode one day where we kind of just answer questions and comments.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do a mail pack for a long ass time. The way we do it at the post when Dex and I do them, we should just do it the same thing here, honestly, where it's like you just look at past comments that you've gotten that you haven't been able to answer, and just do them all on the show. So maybe next week won't be a bad week for it, because I'm not even sure who's fighting next week.
Yeah, but we might have something special next week. I'm still working on that. We'll have to. Well, it's a kind of a surprise, but we're gonna have some for you. Something for sure this month. Something 100% for sure this month. An interview.
Yeah, next week wouldn't be bad for it. The week after is
Sebastian
Fundora, Keith Thurman, Richard Torres Jr. and we should actually mention this because this is newsworthy. Richard Torres Jr. and Frank Sanchez.
Huge fight.
That fight got postponed apparently.
Yeah.
Because Frank Sanchez got injured in training. So I saw May, which means they'll probably move it to the Zurdo Ramirez David Benavidez card, because that's going to be an Amazon Prime pay-per-view card.
What a dope! If that's on that card though, like that's
a PBC
fire.
card, yeah, and that's pay-per-view. So is this, but still.
Yeah, and so that's absolute fire. By the way, if you're wondering, Richard Torres was with Top Rank. I don't know if he's still with Top Rank now, but
he still is. They're still promoting him.
Top Rank is trying to get their deal back with ESPN. Just so you're wondering. But for now, we'll enjoy Tubi. It's easy. Okay.
Well, actually, we should probably mention, this is news also. Like you just mentioned a couple things I just thought about. One, we'll get to the IBF later, but they stripped Janabek. They stripped Janabek because, again, the IBF follows their rules more than anybody else, but we have something else wishy-washy about them we'll get to later. The other thing is, with Top Rank, MVP in the last week announced a deal with ESPN, and they have a couple cards coming up. One of them is going to be with Alicia Baumgartner in the main event in April. I'm blanking on the opponent because, honestly, she's not even a top 3 ranked contender in her own division. She'd be moving down from lightweight. She just lost to Caroline Dubois in like a machine gun fight in England last year. Alicia Baumgartner is fighting somebody who's Caroline Dubois' leftovers and is moving down from lightweight to 130 pounds. And I have concerns about the matchmaking. I have concerns about a lot of MVP things, which we'll get to. The matchmaking, though, what are we doing with Alicia Baumgartner, where she started off with Jennifer Miranda, and she's moved gradually lower and lower in terms of competition quality since then?
You know what it is? And I'll be real. I think the PEDs stained her. she never really took the route to, clear her innocence like she did it herself. And I think that dropped her stock, and she came back, not the same buzz in terms of a fight. Like we're thinking Alicia Baumgartner, she does have power, but she's not like knocking out everybody that she fights. And now they're making her fight competition that isn't maybe on her level, a tier down, a tier two down. And I think they want her to have statement victory so they can build her up because she's a huge name. She's good for the sport. She looks really good. Guys love her. Girls think she's really pretty. She's cool, right? And she's a face of boxing. But if you think about it, Brian, she's not on a lot of pound for pound lists right now. She wasn't on yours, right? And so when you think about Alicia Baumgartner, they're trying to build her up because they're trying to make her the face. Because the only other big face is Amanda Serrano, and of course they have Tam, but they're going to build up Tam as well. But other than Amanda Serrano, like the big name, the mainstream name, right? Because we're boxing nerds, so we know a lot of the names on their roster. But for people that are casual fans, Alicia Baumgartner is the other biggest name on there. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. But the thing is, like, and by the way, she was undisputed until she vacated the WBC title. Now is a new champion, but she is also still like the best at 130. No one's disputing that. But
Yeah.
you can find. Let's actually see. And by the way, this card we didn't even mean to start here, but just real quick because we mentioned a couple different things.
Wait, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
We all know that Amanda Serrano is the best at 126. But if Amanda was to move up at 130 and Amanda's older now, I would give her a chance against Alicia Baumgartner. I
Sure, but
would.
they don't seem to be fighting each other because when I just Googled Alicia Baumgartner, the first picture of her is when they were together in that photo shoot where she's like carrying Amanda Serrano on her back. They don't look like they're gonna fight each other,
They
even though
should
that
though. Yo.
for like 3 4 years we've been like, yo, this is the fight to make, like this is the fight to make, but they're not gonna do that. And promotionally, look, MVP, like you're gonna have to at some point like this is you have to start pitting some of these women against each other, unfortunately. Like I know you're trying to build all of them up and that's going to take time. And I think from a matchmaking standpoint, like for now it makes sense. But if you're going to deliver on like ESPN, yeah, like you could only get away with the one-sided shit for but so long. You know what I mean? Like some people complained about that with the top rank cards. And I thought the top rank cards, I mean, top rank is as good as developing as any, they're the best at developing talent and how
Yeah.
they gradually build guys up. But then eventually they'll throw you into a real fight. And then as we saw with like Shantelle and Brian Norman Jr., like they'll eventually throw you into the fucking fire, like Robesi Ramirez and your boy Rafael Espinoza.
Yeah.
Like they'll build it up, but it'll take time. And then even with Xander Zayas more recently, like he unified in his first title defense in a tough fight. And Abbas Baru has who we've been saying up here, like it's good. This will probably be 116, 112 Xander Zayas, but it's good. And he won basically that exact score by two of the judges. By the way, Shadesha Green is on this card.
Yeah. And
She's the
listen,
co-feature against Lanny Daniels, who Clarissa Shields already beat.
I was going to say, well, I think they're trying to set up Shadeja Green and Clarissa Shields.
Yeah.
That's what they're
But
trying to do. That's
okay, but then Salida and they have to come to agreement. I'm sure
yes.
Salida will take the ESPN check, but like
You
they'll
know what?
have to figure out like how that's gonna work. And Clarissa Shields is clearly the A side there.
100%.
So
100%. I'll say this. I really rock with Salida Promotions. Like they're a smaller promotional company, but I really rock with them. I will
mhm.
say this though, in terms of, just everything that we're talking about, and Top Rank does it the best. This is why they're my favorite. And this is why I was upset that they didn't have a network deal, because Brian's right. The way they build up their fighters, their matchmaking is legit. Like you take a look at someone like Keyshawn Davis. They built Keyshawn Davis perfectly, Brian. Of
Quickly
course,
too.
yeah, and we knew like, oh, Top Rank's gonna push him. Top Rank's gonna push him. But they just know how to build fighters. And you're right. I think MVP could take some notes from them.
I think they have. I'm look, Tam Tebow, Leona Cruz, who I've talked about, like they have some Elise Soto, who's the one I'm probably most excited about. Like
Yeah,
they have women
you
on their
would be.
roster who she's like create a fighter and like get you want to get me excited about them, like Puerto Rican punching power, you know what I'm saying? Body puncher. She's also like 2021 and has a ridiculous knockout percentage so far, but she hasn't fought the best competition, nor should she yet because it's still very early. But once they start throwing her to the wolves, I think she'll come through as she continues to get seasoning. But like they have talent on their roster. Now, I have questions about their leadership. which we can transition to. But um, MVP, I think they have some things that they will have to get in order over the course of this deal. Bo Mi Rishin is who Alicia Baumgartner is fighting. You see her here on the screen, 19-3-3 with 10 knockouts. Most recently lost to, well, not most recently because she won a fight in November, but lost to Caroline Dubois in a close fight. Um, a year ago, basically, which is on the Royal Albert Hall. I think that was the
Mhm.
same card Lauren Price beat the shit out of Natasha Jonas, who I love Natasha Jonas, like
No, yo,
absolutely
I
love Natasha
remember,
Jonas,
yo,
but
okay, I remember watching that fight. I had just ordered a wrap and fries and a Coke Zero to
it was a
watch it, and I was like,
Friday. I
yeah, I
remember. No,
remember
you
we were
did. You
texting,
did.
we
I
were
remember.
texting. And I was like, yo, I'm about to watch this because I like Natasha Jonas, right? I was like, I think she might give Lauren Price some problems. Lauren Price just fought the
Yeah,
most perfect fight. It was brilliant. Like it
yeah.
was a masterclass performance, and I was left like I put Lauren Price on my pound for pound list.
It was one of
Like
the best performances of the year,
yeah,
legitimately.
I didn't even finish my fries. I was like, oh my god, like you know what I mean? You got to eat fries when they're hot. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was just a great performance, and I remember watching that fight, being like, man, Lauren Price is the real deal. What's up, Brian? Did you see something?
Huh?
Did you just got really quiet? Have you seen something that has
Yeah, I
sparked
heard
your interest?
your voice. I heard your voice from two different tabs, and I'm like, which one is talking currently? What the hell?
It's
Um,
because you got two devices up right now. You got to mute one of them.
because I was trying to tweet that we're on.
I was trying to do that too. Okay. But nonetheless, drop your comments, by the way, if you have
Do that right
any
now.
comments on Alicia Baumgartner and just kind of her trajectory after being, pretty much caught for PEDs, and how you think that's gone. And if you think that MVP is building her the right way. Also, do you have her on your pound for pound list? I think that's a very interesting thing, because Brian's right. She's the best at 130. The best at 130, Brian.
We can look at the rankings real quick, actually.
We should, yeah.
Or at least the box rec version, because unfortunately, you know how boxing scene has a database for all the men's rankings. Can't really find one for the women's rankings. You got to go sanctioning body by sanctioning body, which is quite annoying. Um, all right, here we go. So, and also that fight, by the way, coming up is for the IBF, WBO, and WBA titles. But as we know, Box Rec doesn't recognize the WBA anymore.
For
Which
obvious reasons. But
I still think it's hilarious. Okay, so here we go. Jesus. I mean, listen, the person you would want to see her fight is Caroline Vieira, but
fellow
she has a W
Canadian.
she is right. She has a WBC title. She just beat um Delphine Persoon, who Alicia Baumgartner just had a fight against. I wouldn't even say beat because she dropped her, but there was a no
Yeah.
contest. Um, this fight was pretty awful. If you watch it, there were like multiple point deductions. There's just grabbing, holding. Delphine Persoon was pissed. Like, it was just not a great fight. But also, if Alicia Baumgartner wants to do 12 rounds and 3-minute rounds, WBC is just not going to allow that for the women, which Mauricio Suleiman has said time and again. You can feel about that how you will, but um, that's just is what it is. So it doesn't look like she's going to be chasing undisputed. So then you have like what Shelia Martinez, Elizabeth Oshoba, who I think is actually interesting. I don't know if she's ready to face Alicia Baumgartner necessarily. Kyria Tapia, Elise Soto is actually in this weight class, but I would not throw her to Alicia Baumgartner yet.
Not yet,
Um,
but Brian, if you build Soto up in the correct way, like in 4 years, we could be talking totally differently.
the best fight to make for Alicia Baumgartner right now is Caroline Dubois, who is
Yes.
under the MVP banner, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. Um,
I know there are rumors that that fight could possibly happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And you think, like, okay, here's the thing. Because they're under the MVP banner, wouldn't it be easier to make a lot of these fights? You would think.
yes, I just don't. I just think they want to milk it so that they can make money with them on the one-sided fights as long as they could before throwing them in a fight against each other. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what the promotions try to do, even with Top Rank. It's like, how long can we marinate this fight for? And then you run the risk of like an upset happening, right? But it's like, how long can you marinate this fight for until you got to put your two top guys in the same weight class against each other? Like they did Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez, for example. Top Rank did. Um, They probably could have done that sooner,
Yeah.
but for smart reasons, I would say you wait on that because you want to get Shakur a little bit more development, even though he came in season and I don't even think he ever fought a 4-round fight. I think it went right to 6 rounds. But like
Yeah.
he was an Olympic silver medalist with a great amateur pedigree. Young too. Like he turned pro. He was like 19, 20 years old. But Oscar Valdez had been around at that point. So it's like, what's the perfect point for both of them to meet? Jesus teases us up for the next topic. He says MVP is horrible for boxing. He is aligned with the press. So is Zuffa, for what it's worth.
They're in bed with the president. I mean, listen,
Yep.
that's how Zuffa is getting some laws passed, right? Because Dana White is homies with the right people and they're all connected. And Brian, I think that's where we go next. We talk about Jake Paul being at a Trump event. And it's really interesting because he is clearly publicly aligning with the president. And obviously Brian has some footage right here.
He's done this before. Like this isn't new. This is recent, but it's not new. Like he was at the inauguration.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, hold on, we'll get to the dance in a second. That bullshit. And let me actually make this a little bit bigger so people can see. This was in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Which, okay, I mean, I don't know why Jake Paul. He's from Ohio, I guess, but like he lives in PR. But whatever. Let's actually play this. This is from yesterday.
And God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Awkward handshake, of course.
It looks like they were going in for a
shit.
kiss.
By the way, look at his armpits. Do you see this sweat? You seeing this? Like this was the thing people were talking about. They were like, yo, Obama had the tan suit, but he never sweated through it like that. And people were pissed at him for wearing the tan suit. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, but you know what? Like I'll say
us.
this. Like maybe he took some type of supplement and he was like sweating, or you know what I mean? Like some people sweat profusely. So it's like I feel bad that kind of happened to him.
Some people would say PEDs, but I won't.
Yes. So that's a good point, but we don't want to allegedly. Let's just throw that in there so that we don't get caught. Let's roll with the video.
That's why I said some would say. I would not say that. Life Lessons Combat Sports, who I've been talking to quite frequently, and is also keeping me updated on the streets of what's going on in terms of all the congressional stuff and how it's affecting boxing. So I appreciate it. Zuffa Boxing isn't great either. And as y'all are noting, this isn't a good look for MVP. Well, Jake Paul evidently thinks it does. By the way, Nikisa Badarian, his business partner, he was born in Iran. He's of Iranian descent. I don't think a lot of people know that. Now, I'm not telling you like he's out here just like, I don't know where he stands on the current war that is going on involving Iran, Israel, the United States, so on and so forth. But he's from Iran.
I want to say this one thing. Anyone that I know from Iran or has like Iranian descent, they're usually like the nicest people. I'm just gonna keep it real there. Like all my Iranian friends are like some of the nicest people, but nonetheless, I obviously have different views on the war because I'm Canadian, so I don't necessarily believe in all that. But
Jesus says MVP wants to promote women, but the president dislikes women. Yeah, this is what I'm getting at, Jesus, right? And we're on the same page. It's like, how are you the champion of women's boxing, right? Like you're the guy who's like, we need to put women first, all these different things. And you're here. Like it's just we're in a time where you have so much money and influence and power. Like the words mean nothing. Words mean fucking nothing. Damn near actions mean nothing. It's just like you have just the money to be able to just slide through and get away with it. Do we want to hear the rest of this awkward shit?
I do. I definitely do.
Okay. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Look at the pits are crazy. Jesus.
No, he's a great guy. He's a courageous guy and a talented guy. He's a hell of a fighter, too, by the way.
No, he's not.
And I just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not too distant future, running for political office.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
And you have my complete and total endorsement, okay?
He sounds older and older.
That's what we want. He's an incredible guy. A lot of courage and smarts.
Yeah, okay. And then they MVP, by the way, MVP posted this. We will not post
Okay.
with the song, but he did the silly the YMCA dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They posted this. MVP did. Like MVP did, okay? Um the company who represents Amanda Serrano, the company who represents Elise Soto, who we just talked about, Tam Tebow, Shadeja Green, right? Like not just women, but black women, Latinas, like women of color. It's on and on and on. And this is the case in a lot of different places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know where I work, for example. But and I understand, like, working at places, you're not a reflection of leadership there, which is to say the people who have more and are at different parts of the company, and particularly at ownership, they will think differently than like the people who are working and in the working class and where they are.
Yeah.
Which is also another way of saying, like, you work at a company and you're not going to agree with all your employers, which is why it's important to note my opinions are my opinions and they're not a reflection of my employers. All that being said, Amanda Serrano has a leadership position and she's a higher up at MVP. She's one of the most important people at that company, to the point where, and I'll get this dude off the screen, to the point, because just can't seriously do it, to the point where she says something, or Jake Paul says something slandering Bad Bunny, and Amanda Serrano claps back, and Jake Paul walks it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, walks it back. We talked about this during the Super Bowl. Like, walked it back and said his phone, like, oh, I love Bad Bunny, my phone got hacked, whatever. And he lives in PR, so he knows that, like, people will find his crib and, like, carry knives on his front porch and shit. You know what I mean? It's in the gated community that I'm sure he lives in Dorado. But I think this puts a lot of the fighters in a tough spot, especially because the fighters are all public figures. It's one thing if you work at a company where maybe there's like a handful of public figures, but like people don't really know them like that. But boxers, like, your whole thing is you have to be out in front of people. You have to be promoting yourself along with the company that promotes you. So you have this ESPN deal, by the way, and basically a week or so after this gets announced, you have this going on too. And I feel like it just makes it a lot of awkward for the, again, women that Jake Paul wants to represent.
You know what's interesting about the whole entire thing, and I'll say this, is that great points from Bryan in terms of, we know there's an individual that maybe does not support women as much, and then Jake Paul is making money off of women and promoting them. It's literally what it is. He found an avenue where, they weren't pouring into it. He started pouring into this avenue and making millions of dollars off of it. Now, let's give him the credit in terms of him building up women's boxing. But at the same time, if you think about it, he's exploiting it. If his beliefs are what his beliefs are, that's exploitation. So, you know what? Here's the thing, like, it's really tough because you do have to respect other people's views. And they always say, there's a few things you never talk about. Religion and politics. Like, you're not supposed to outwardly talk about those things, right? Because they can cause a lot of issues. But when things like this are happening in the world and you're seeing a lot of people, be very vocal about where they stand, you are making a stance about what side of history you're going to be on. And I also think that's important because sometimes you do have to be authentic, but at the same time, it can cost you your job in this day and age. So you have to be extremely careful. And that's why I think it's smart. Bryan was like, yo, my opinions are my opinions. They're not of my employers. It says it on Twitter for a lot of people that are in media. But Jake Paul has taken a stance, and then it contradicts with everything that he's doing. So, there's that factor. And Jesus really brings this up. And I want to get into this as well. UFC is hurting right now, and politics is part of why it is. A lot of people are turned off with how it's been a big Republican Party on a lot of those broadcasts. And I'll say that, right? And so there's a group of people that feel, alienated. It doesn't coincide with everybody's beliefs, and it's like really pushed on people. And so that's another issue. But like I said, like, everyone's views should be respected. But here's the thing. There is going to be a big event in the summertime, a UFC event, at the White House. It's never happened before. But Bryan, the state that the world is in, having that big event, I'm not sure how safe that is.
Mm-hmm. A couple things there. Back to Jesus's comment about UFC hurting because of politics. I feel like I was kind of there for the shift of it. So the first MMA event I covered, MMA in general, not just the UFC, because I also did some Bellator back when they existed. But the first one that I covered was the Madison Square Garden card in late 2016, where Conor McGregor was in the main event against Eddie Alvarez, and he became the champ. And it was actually like a really fun card. But this was at a time where the UFC was still kind of for everybody. And I think some people would look back and say, oh, that was like the peak era, right? Where a lot of divisions were just on fire. You had Conor at his peak. It was just ridiculous. Like, it was must see. This pre ESPN or early ESPN deal? I'm trying to remember the timeline because everything's a little fuzzy. Everything before COVID is just like it all kind of blends at this point, right? But I was there for that, like literally there for that. And then they started coming to the Barclays Center once a year, and like MMA had just been legal in New York, so it was the first UFC event at Madison Square Garden. So that was also a big deal. And that was also the same week or around the same time Trump got elected the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing because the day after is like when we had the day after the election, there was like media workouts for this card. And one of my friends was so despondent, my boy Darrell, he didn't even go. Like, he said, I can't leave the crib. Like, I just can't believe we did this shit, right? And I feel like this is when it started shifting, because before you had like women going to UFC events like all the time because Ronda Rousey and later Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, but because Ronda Rousey a little bit more specifically, who by the way is going to fight. And like the UFC hadn't made that hard turn that Life Lessons Combat Sports mentions in the comments, that hard turn, that hard pivot to the right, where they started bringing out Trump during events, RFK, Kid Rock, and really leaning into, hey, this is who we want to align ourselves with. Dana White and Trump are boys. Joe Rogan started making this pivot too, because he was a Bernie Sanders guy who then pivoted to the right also. And I think that has something to do with it, because Joe Rogan is incredibly influential, and especially was during that time. So when he pivoted, a lot of other people pivoted. So gradually it's been this thing, and they chose their alliance, and that turned off a lot of different people. And now the UFC is at a point where, despite them getting, and they got a shit ton of money from CBS, but I called that a little suspect from the start, just because like it was a lot of money and a lot more than people thought they were going to get. But now that we've seen the direction that CBS is going in, it makes more sense. And this is what people were worried about when Barry Weiss was decided to be the one of the higher ups on the editorial side. And that's taken a dip since, because now people respect them less. So like all of this has really affected the UFC. And to bring it back to boxing, if boxing is going to have these alliances in the public, more and more of them, it'll turn people off to boxing too. But people have already been turned off to boxing, but because of boxing reasons, like the lack of stars we talked about. Like we talked about recently in an episode, who were the biggest 3 stars in boxing 10 years ago? Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. Who are the biggest 3 stars in boxing right now? Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and Manny Pacquiao.
Oh my God.
Same people.
That's so funny to me, dude.
Because we're not getting enough of the fights, even with Turkey. Like, even with Turkey, you could say like, oh, he's put on some of the big spectacle events, but all they care about with the Saudi money and that regime, like all they care about are the spectacle events. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they've really prioritized, and they want. That's why fucking Alexander Usyk is going to fight Rico Verhoeven in the fucking pyramids in Egypt. Like that's a spectacle event, and all of us here know Alexander Usyk is going to win that fight. We all know that, but they care about the spectacle. So you have Turkey, you have Dana White, you have, because of Zuffa, you have ties in with the president from Zuffa and MVP, and you have Congress in the bag for Dana and Zuffa doing the UBO shit. But by the way, MVP could benefit off of that too, because they have women's boxing, damn near all of it. Yeah. So this is going to put people off regardless in a roundabout way, because of lack of matchups, because of alliances, because of how things are going to be skewed. And boxing fans, I would say are not exactly like UFC fans. Like they'll probably see through more of that shit and reject it a little bit more. And then there'll be a lot of boxing fans who don't care as long as they get the occasional big fight. And we'll see how it affects the sport. But I think it's going to affect the sport inside out in a lot of different ways over the next year plus, however long this lasts.
And another factor of it is that boxing fans are very different from UFC fans. Like there's a particular type of boxing fan, and then there's particular types of UFC fans right now. And I think that also has a lot to do with it as well. But we're going to see the sport change. And also just really quickly, because, we might quickly touch on Opataya and his performance and, everything that went on with the IBF. But really
and also
quickly,
the people in our thumbnail, we got to talk about all their fights.
Yes. So we're going to. So we definitely are. And this went a lot longer. But, what's going on in the world right now, like it's hard not to talk about it because it's all connected.
It affects
So
everything.
we're doing our due diligence here, and
If you're
it
an
might not be
investor,
covered.
if you're an investor, you've been affected.
100%, and you're going to continue to get affected, and that's the big thing. But the bigger thing is what's going on in the world right now. It's going to affect a lot of things.
Mhm.
People are losing their jobs. We should have a political show, but nonetheless,
I mean,
I'll-
listen, if we have if we do the membership shit, like
we might, y'all. We might give you some extra content here.
if you're interested, legitimately let us know. If you're interested in really supporting this channel and becoming a member and just, a couple dollars here and there, and we do like non-boxing stuff or stuff outside of boxing, we'll do that if enough of you guys want it. We'll figure out a way to do it with our schedules.
For sure. And by the way, thanks for everyone that's supporting and dropping a comment. A quick shout out really quickly to Life Lessons in Combat Sports, friend of the show. And has dropped some really good knowledge and really supports a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, because not a lot of these boxing shows they're not really intertwined with talking about politics, but it's all really connected, especially right now with everything going on in the world. I want to get to Zuffa because Zuffa had a card this past weekend, but also it's very in line with politics, Brian. Even all of Zuffa is so corporate. It's like extremely corporate to me. And when I'm watching it, it doesn't have the flair that boxing has. And I want to just talk to you about the product that they've put out, because I think that's really important, because, a lot of these young prospects are going to take the route to Zuffa. What are your thoughts on just the few fight cards that Zuffa has put on? And what do you think about the product each time? Do you feel like it's gotten better from that, Zuffa 01 first fight?
Jesus asked me if I know Luke Thomas and if I worked with him. No, I would love to. I think he's one of the best doing this right now. If I can get in contact with him, that'd be great. But he's a busy man. To answer your question, has it gotten better? I mean, I guess. We've already seen one guy fight multiple cards. So they've already announced another one in April too.
Yeah.
I don't find myself being like, oh shit, I can't wait to check it out. Probably because of all the things we're talking about. And as somebody who follows the WWE, albeit a little bit less so than before, because it's just been hard to balance like everything in life going on right now in terms of following this sport and this sport and this sport, and then just all the regular day-to-day things that we deal with as people trying to just like, thrive. I think with the WWE and with the fans, what I've seen, they're pissed off at the product for a number of different reasons, because WWE, which had been corporatized before, but like has gotten really more corporatized post Vince McMahon, which is interesting enough, because they have to adhere to investors also, and because of TKO seller relationships and who owns them, and TKO owns, as we know, the WWE and the UFC and Zuffa Boxing. So we've talked about the potential for a monopoly there, and I think with TKO, like this all really comes from them. Like this is how they want to run these things. Like this is how they want, and it's easier with Zuffa Boxing because they're starting at ground zero with the promotion. So you could establish these are our trunks. This is our venue for now. They'll eventually move on to other shit.
They need a different venue, dude. That's one of the big issues.
They're gonna get, like, the thing is, Zuffa, I think, is going to work just because they have so much money. And they can create so much influence because of their political affiliations and because of the money and the higher ups and Dana White. Like, because of all of this, it's just going to work. Like, whether we like it or not, I just feel like it's going to work. And I'm not telling you it's going to have the best fights. I'm not telling you it's going to be the best product. And I'm not telling you it's going to be the thing that quote unquote saves boxing. I don't know if it's going to be any of those things, but I think they're going to just do it enough where you can't really ignore it like that. And it's
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
one of the
huge.
only things that's constant because, like, how often do we see comparatively? How often are we seeing top rank events right now? How often are we seeing PBC events right now? How often are we seeing matchroom events right now in comparison? They're probably the only other ones, and then Queensberry, they're probably the
Yeah.
only other ones that are running events
Matchroom's
this
pretty,
often.
yeah. Matchroom's pretty consistent. Like there's always fights on DAZN. And so I do appreciate that, like
I
some
think
really like
Matchroom
nerdy
is the
fights.
best right now. I think Matchroom is the best right now. I'm not even saying
I
that just
agree.
because I interviewed Eddie Hearn in January, but like in looking at they have a deal.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. I miss to when Top Rank was doing it on Friday nights and doing it consistently. Like growing up, Top Rank
100%.
was putting on a lot of fights. And I wish and I hope, and if they're smart, bring back those Friday night fights back and go up against Zuffa sometimes.
Mm.
Like just do it.
Well,
Because
MVP, Alicia Baumgartner is fighting on a Friday.
I love that. We need more Friday night fights. Like I'm all about the Friday night fights, Brian, and I think they do really well. And it'll be interesting to see if ESPN gets back in bed with Top Rank because I think Top Rank still, when they're active, they're the best. But yeah, shout out to Eddie Hearn. Matchroom does a good job. They put on a lot of fights on DAZN. There's always fights on DAZN, and so that's why I have it because it's boxing like at any time, and so I'll give them that.
Do we want to play the Stephen A. Smith Think That Life Lessons mentions in the comments?
Yeah, and Stephen A. will also probably be running for the Republican Party.
Well, he's teased running as a Democrat, but now he's saying that he makes so much money that he doesn't want to jeopardize it or whatever. Like he's now pivoting out, and I think Joy Reid and Godfrey were shitting on him in the clip that I saw.
Oh my god! But I really think he's gonna run though. Like he's gearing up to run, Brian.
I should
like
play
legit.
I should play the Godfrey clip. It was hilarious.
And by the way, this is courtesy of ESPN.
This is yeah. We should mention that. This is from First Take. Hopefully we don't get flagged from it, but yeah.
Back there, do you think he's right?
He's absolutely right, 1,000% right. I completely support Dana White with what he said because boxing desperately needs this man. And I've said this for many years, and just to show that I'm open and I'm honest about it, let me be very, very clear. Dana White is a friend. Nick Khan, all right, who's also associated with Zuffa Boxing, is a friend and a former agent of mine. He's phenomenal, okay? And Mark Shapiro, who's the president and chief operating officer of TKO Holdings, who owns 40% of Zuffa Boxing. He's like a brother to me.
When we talk about Zuffa, just to interrupt real quick, Nick Khan and Mark Shapiro, who you mentioned, those are two of the names that you also have to keep your eye on the ball with. Nick Khan used to be an agent and a high-ranking one at CAA who represented a lot of the talent who work in the industry that Shantelle and I do in terms of talent, and curated a lot of relationships and curated a lot of power there. And he was poached from there to help run this TKO WWE conglomerate, and obviously is involved via TKO with all the Zuffa stuff that we're talking about. And Mark Shapiro is obviously one of the high ups in TKO. So those are important names to not overlook here because we have to keep our eye on the business side of things too.
Let me tell y'all something right now. None of that matters. I got no crux in this game. I ain't getting a dime. I've told...
That is not true because he's represented by Endeavor, and Endeavor is also folded into TKO, WWE. So
I'm not gonna
he might
lie,
not be getting a dime, but there's reason for him to say this is the point.
Let me just say this really quick. I'm not gonna lie, I got stock in Endeavor. But anyway, I bought stock in Endeavor like before COVID. Like when they became public, I bought that stock. And let me tell you, I ain't mad about it. I'm just saying I was on that early. But go ahead.
Capitalism obviously has its issues. But when you live in a capitalistic society, you might have to play ball a little bit. I understand.
They say, by the way, which is really smart, if you're looking to get into like buying stocks, buy stuff that you're interested in. And so I was like interested in MMA, and like they went public, and I was like, I'm gonna buy stock in Endeavor, and that was one of the first stocks I ever bought, and I don't regret it. But go ahead, let's go.
Continuing with Stephen A, and then I promise we'll get to like
Yes, we will. We'll get to the
Fights.
fights, guys.
All three of them. What do you need? I'll help you for free. I don't give a damn. Because boxing, I love boxing. And what these boxing promoters have done to the sport is criminal. We want the fights that we want to see when we want to see them. That's why you will never see me denigrate Jake Paul. Why? Because Jake Paul took it upon himself to promote himself rather than lean on promoters. You understand? Floyd Money Mayweather leans on himself instead of being at the mercy of boxing promoters. They have ruined the sport. You know how many great fighters? I just interviewed Shakur Stevenson the other day, who has proven to be arguably the best fighter on the planet in terms of his skill set. The brother is just skilled. Terrence Crawford, another one. We all know how legit and big time he is. Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, got to move up to cruiserweight and ultimately heavyweight because every damn body running from him and nobody forces the people in him.
I think a lot of people are going to hear this and be like, yo, he's spitting, just because like this really speaks to like the boxing, a very specific boxing fan, and it speaks to the boxing fan who just cares about fights and nothing else.
And there's there's a big group of boxing fans that just care about the fights. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about the anything behind the scenes. They also don't even care about what it can mean for the future of the sport, which is it's tied into it, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm not shaming people who do, because there are some people who obviously watch this, listen to this, who only care about fights. And if that's what you want to do, and if you don't have time for the other shit, and this is just your hobby, I understand. I'm just saying we're going to do our jobs and keep our eye on the ball and follow like the business aspects of this too. So this is going to sound good to a lot of people, evidently, because a lot of people agreed with it. But when you recognize where it's coming from, who benefits from certain things being said, and the fact that I would say Stephen A. Smith's, respectfully, his credibility has taken a bit of a hit over the last few years, and things of that, probably even longer than that, some people would say. I think all that consideration is important.
His division to fight him when he's right there undefeated and a knockout artist, and they won't fight him. Okay, it's ridiculous. Boxing has been completely contaminated by promoters who have not prioritized giving the people what we want when we want it. I know that ain't gonna be Dana White. I'll vouch for Dana.
And that's the issue, right? Because we would agree with, yo, and not even just the promoters, sanctioning bodies, managers, like there's a whole bunch of the boxers themselves. There's a whole bunch of reasons that the sport is where it is. But as we talked about, and as I've said here, all those problems we can agree on, Stephen A. We do not agree that Dana White's going to be the solution, though. Like the issue is not that Dana White is going to come in and fix it, because I don't think he is. It's like the whole sport needs to be just stripped a fucking part, torn down to shreds, and start from the beginning with like a fantasy draft. Like
I think the difficult thing is, and you kind of laid it out perfectly. It's not just the promoters, it's also the fighters. Like I think the fighters have changed as well, and there's a lot of picking and choosing about who they fight. And I hate to say it, but I think the Mayweather era and how Mayweather was like picking his fights and keeping his O, I think that really trended to like how the boxers are now. And shout out to guys like Teofimo Lopez that are, put their O on the, not the O, but like put their, he had one loss going into a fight that was huge with Shakur Stevenson, like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, like these guys are fighting each other. But I do think the Mayweather effect had an effect on a lot of boxers. It's like very similar to a lot of the young guys in the NBA that looked up to LeBron and are following LeBron's path, like with the All-Star. Like it's very, very similar. I'll say this though, like it's crazy to just label Dana White as a savior of boxing. Zuffa's going to be big. Zuffa's going to be one of the biggest things in 10 years, Brian. Like I think it's going to be popping, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be huge. I'll say this though, all of boxing though needs to come together, and they got to make the big fights. And shout out to all the young boxers that are like a Shakur Stevenson, like a Teofimo Lopez, like a Devin Haney, like a Ryan Garcia, that are willing to make the big fights, because that's what's important. That's what's going to carry boxing. Because just like you mentioned, if you're a casual fan, you want to see the big fights. That's all you care about. But there's politics involved in that. And I think the boxers are being more open to it because they know it's not just about the promotional company. It's about them as well and how they sell themselves. And so we need more of that in the sport. And I think we're getting to a better place. And I just think the one thing that I'm not rocking with Zuffa is like the corporate stuff. Like it's so corporate, dude. And like boxing's all about having style and like being yourself and like that aspect of it. So nonetheless, though, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that Stephen A was on point. But listen,
this is where it falls off a cliff. We have 50 seconds.
Dana White on that. He gonna give you the damn fight. You can sit up there and get in a fight in the parking lot. He'll jump in the middle of you. Hold on. Let's go and put this in the ring and make some money off of this. You do that now. Don't do it in the streets. Do it here. Dana White's gonna do it. Nick Khan has been synonymous with boxing for decades. The man knows boxing inside and out. And oh, by the way, Mark Shapiro is just that dude, the brother special. He's phenomenal. The combination of the three of them.
See how he keeps putting those
Turkish,
names over?
Ali Sheik, financing about.
Wait, what did he call him? Hold on.
Ali Sheik,
Wait, hold on.
With the Turkish girl, Ali Sheik.
Turkish Ali Sheik. You can just tell though that like what that tells me though, and you'll know this. You can attest to this because you're in broadcasting. He doesn't know, like he doesn't actually know the names, and he's just talking. Like if you know something,
that's his.
He does that all the time, yo. He does it with football a lot. Like a lot with football. Like I'll give him that. Like he knows what
Max Crosby and them boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when it's football, I'm just like whenever Stephen A talks about football, and I have a lot of respect for Stephen A and everything that he's built and how he's put a lot of people of color on television. I rock with him for that. But like I can tell when he doesn't know what he's talking about because in broadcasting, when you have those little small things like Turkish, Ali Sheik, like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But because we watch him for so long, we know his ticks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing too. Like we know if you're being authentic, and so we know what Stephen A is good at. And
yeah, I'm in New York. He was on radio here when I was like 12, 11. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like so I've been listening to him in some form. I don't really watch First Take now. I come across these type of clips, but 20 years or so, he's basically been in my life.
Yeah, I mean, up here in Canada, I think I really got to know him during, quite frankly, and like him covering Iverson, right? Because
that was like 04, 05, yeah.
Yeah, and I was a big AI fan, so like he had everything on Iverson. And
so that's Marbury too. Yeah, Marbury. Yeah. Marbury was like, I'm the best point guard in the NBA, better than Jason Kidd on the show. Remember that?
Yeah.
Shit?
Yeah, and so that's kind of when I was like, oh, I rock with Stephen A. And that was like back in the day. Obviously, he's grown, but we know we've been watching him for like 20 years. Like, I remember
the commercials. I remember the commercial. Quite frankly, that's all you need. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
It was cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was cool though. Like at that time, it was dope, and I absolutely loved it. So, Stephen A. He's gonna say what he says, and he's really good at what he does. But you could. Tell he didn't know what he was talking about, Brian. Come on.
With the Turkish girl, Ali Sheik, financing about 60% of it. I'm sorry, whatever it takes. That's how desperate boxing is.
He's saying it out in the blue, like Turkey's financing 60% of it. He's giving you the game, bro.
But their presence, desperate times calls for desperate measures. This is what you do, and I hope that Dana White and them get exactly what they want, and I will do whatever it takes to help them, to save boxing, because boxing is in dire straits, period.
This is also really political, like aligning yourself politically, because all these guys are connected. And also, it's like if you're not going to run Democrat anymore, you're going to run Republican, you're going to need the support of someone like Dana White. Just saying, right? Like you need to have a cosign.
I'm not taking the political shit seriously. I'm not.
He's going to do it, Brian. I'm telling you, he's gearing up. He's got a political show. He's got a political show.
But I don't think okay, maybe I'm making the mistake many people made in 2015 and 16. I don't think he'd win. Like,
I don't think he'd win either.
Like he'd be trying to appeal to the center, and that's not the 2026 move. Like it's extreme on both sides.
I think he's too. I'll say this. I think because he's so polarizing that there's more hate for him. I swear, because he's so polarizing. Like
but white people love when he calls out other black people, like Jasmine Crockett, for example.
But first off, we need to protect Jasmine Crockett at all costs, baby. We need to protect her at all costs. I hope when she runs, she wins, right? Like, I mean, she'll be running in Texas.
She did just lose in Texas to James Tallarico.
Yeah. But she's gonna win at she's gonna win at some point. She has to.
They screwed her because they fucked up her district. They redistrict, like they redesigned it, and then she basically had to run for the seat that her and James Tallarico were running for.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she allowed James Tallarico to run to her left, and that's why she lost that one, because James Tallarico was a little bit more progressive, I would say, and probably had messaging that resonated with a lot more people. And he's also a white dude, but I can't deny like his platforms legit. Anyway,
but anyways, that was our political piece here on the
you could tell the shit I'm following when I'm not watching boxing or basketball or baseball.
Yeah, but drop your comments. Let us know what you think about Zuffa. Let us know what you think about that event that's going to be taking place at the White House, and let us know if you want more content like this, Brian. I think we definitely got to get onto the fights, but really quickly, because Opataya obviously was on a Zuffa card. The IBF stripped him of his title. He is now the Zuffa champion. He won by unanimous decision.
But now the IBF is, we don't know. Like, we don't know if they're walking it back fully or not.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this. So Opataya's undisputed dream still alive as IBF releases a new statement on title status. So what's
from
going on
Boxing
here?
News Online. This is from Tuesday. Okay. Late Tuesday, I believe. Jai Opataya, so does IBF announced in a statement they have yet to make a final decision. Jai Opataya made comments. This is the quote we're reading. Jai Opataya made comments during the post-fight press conference that have led the organization's leadership to question whether he was made completely and fully aware by his advisors of the decisions he needed to make when committing to the bout against Brandon Glanton. This is the one that happened this past week. That was for the Zuffa title that the IBF didn't want to seemingly allow Jai Opataya to defend his title. The organization tends to look further into this matter. This all comes on the heels of, if I may pull this back up, from this past weekend, going back to Dana White, oddly enough, but he had something interesting to say. And where the hell are my bookmarks? He has something interesting to say about just the IBF's stance on this, if you will. Here we go. This is from the press conference from.
Is this when he just starts like?
And where the hell?
He starts going in on them. He like
he has
literally.
Something interesting to say about. Are we in the corner? Just the funny. IBF. All right. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. Yes. I don't want to see us on multiple screens. We're gonna talk about the Golden Boy card in a sec, Jesus. The betting odds will reflect your opinion, is what I would say. All right, here's what Dana White had to say.
On this, they initially say they're going to support it, and they withdraw support of it this week leading up to it.
I do not have
bizarre situation. What are your thoughts on it?
Why is the audio not playing?
It's playing on my
thoughts on this. They initially say they're going to support it, and they withdraw support of it this week leading up to it. Bizarre situation. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he's the best in the world, and he paid his sanctioning fees. They flew a guy out here, and then, saying they were disrespected at the press conference. The belt was in front of him the entire time, and he held it in his hand when he did the face-off. The Zuffa belt was in the middle because nobody had it. He had the other two belts, and they were fighting for that one. So
I know you said these sanctioning bodies are kind of doing your job for you. Do you think that people are starting to see, maybe the ridiculousness of some of the sanctioning fees and their decision to just pull?
The fact that you're asking me that means that that's exactly what you guys think too. I mean, it's pretty clear what they're doing and what's going on, and I see lawsuits coming. That's what I see.
Maybe the ridiculous.
What do we think?
Some of the sanctioning fees.
There's something else that's playing in the background there. Oh, there, it's off.
That was me.
Listen,
it was the same presser.
Yeah, Dana White's going to say what he has to say, and whatever he says is in favor of him. But nonetheless, like, as for the IBF, I think they should stand 10 toes down, Brian. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree too, because you're leaving an opening for Dana to come in and eventually delegitimize you. Yeah,
it's to take over.
If you're lending credibility to him, like, he's trying to put you out of business. He said this. He's like, we're done with the sanctioning bodies, whatever. And then later said, oh, they could still exist or whatever. But come on, like, you have to stand 10 toes down. I agree. I don't know if they will, because it feels like everyone's just bending over to power lately. So I don't ultimately know, but again, the IBF generally follows their own rules. So let's see if they continue to be weird about this.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Brian, before we get off of here? Because like Obitaya obviously performed really well. He's the champ. And it was an easy fight for him. I don't know if I have anything much to say about that, but I mean, he's like the first really, really big name. And there will be a trickle down effect where more big names in boxing are going to join Zuffa.
Let's talk about the Golden Boy card. Finally.
Yeah. Oh
1
my
hour
God,
in.
guys. Let's do this, okay? Because big card, Arnold Barboza. Oh my God, I can't even talk. Arnold Barboza Jr. back in the ring, taking on Kenneth Sims Jr. That's actually a very tough fight, Brian. And it's at 147. Not at 140. It's at 147.
Yeah. Arnold Barboza is the underdog, by the way.
Crazy. But he's moving up and he's coming off a loss. He's moving up and he's coming off a loss. I'll say this, Brian. I don't think we saw the Arnold Barboza Jr. that we should have seen against Teofimo Lopez. I don't know what was up with the game plan, but that's not how Barboza Jr. really fights. I thought he would throw a little bit more. And I feel like Teofimo Lopez fought a good fight against him, but this is his comeback fight. This is a huge statement for a guy like Barboza Jr. This is huge, Brian. This might be the Teo fight was the biggest payday of his career. This might be the most important fight for Arnold Barboza Jr. in his career because he's coming off that loss and he's moving up to 147. Lots of competition at 147 now.
He's 34. He's coming off that loss, as you mentioned. He loses this, he's just an opponent. Like they're gonna try to they'll make him a promotional B-side. They'll use him to build up other guys, especially given that this isn't his natural weight class. He won an interim title at 140. And listen, he had a really good run after the Sean McCollum debacle where people thought that he got a favorable decision. I was probably included in that.
Yeah.
But he beat Jose Ramirez fair and square. I've never said fair and square in my life until then. He beat Jack Catterall after that. In Jack Catterall's that was a road game for Arnold Barboza Jr. You know what I mean? By the way, before that, he had a nice win against Jose Pedraza also.
Someone that also turned into kind of a guy that was fed to younger boxers, right? So you're kind of making the point that that could be Barboza's trajectory, depending on what happens in this fight.
So
yeah, he's on the older end.
Tends to happen. Kenneth Sims Jr., by the way, I'll say this: he definitely looked more impressive in his most recent fight than Arnold Barboza did. Kenneth Sims Jr. fought against Oscar Duarte. I thought that was a draw, and I think he had a decent case of getting a win. It was a 12-round. Just really good boxing match. Just really solid, two solid fighters who are like contender level. Maybe one of them breaks through and becomes a champion someday. Just a really solid boxing match. Kenneth Sims Jr. is also 32, and he has 3 losses on his record, by the way. So whoever loses this, they're going to be in scary B-side territory.
I would take Barboza Jr. in this fight. I think he's going to win by decision. That's my guess. Let's get to the odds. Yeah, let's pull them up. They're terrible. You got to make a parlay. You got to bet on a bunch of fights to make some money on this one.
Yeah. So are you really? You're more confident in Arnold Barboza than I am. But
I am.
But that's out of respect for Kenneth Sims and based on what we saw last. But it was also 10 months ago. Not a short layoff for Arnold Barboza, but he's here plus 120 on this particular book, FanDuel. By decision plus 175.
Those are good odds, baby. That's what I'm betting.
AC number. Kenneth Sims Jr. and Arnold Barboza, neither of them have ever been stopped before, by the way. And neither of them I will call big punchers either. They're just good boxers. Counter punchers, not big punchers.
No, I agree. I'm rolling with my guy. He's moving up to 147. I think he should have stayed at 140. I actually think a really good fight to make at 140 would have been Barboza Jr. and Lamont Roach. I am such a nerd. I'm sorry. That's what do you not have wanted to see that fight at 140, Brian?
I would say out of respect, there's probably other people I'd rather see Lamont Roach fight.
Well, yeah. Hey, Lamont Roach is going to get back in the ring. So he got robbed.
Well, he's got to fight for a title now.
He has to. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
He's supposed to fight. He's supposed to fight for, is it not the WBA? The IBF?
Bro,
maybe?
he got robbed twice.
He did. He's
He
supposed to
I
fight. He's
can't
supposed to
believe
fight for
that.
one of the or WBC. He's supposed to fight. It was WBC. Him and Williams Zepeda. That's the fight that's supposed to
Yes,
happen.
yeah, great fight by the way. We
If
got to
it
do
happens.
we have to do a post fight show for that one, Brian.
So Barboza, man, I ain't betting on this fight.
I'm betting on it. Let us know how you're betting on it, mandatory viewers. We want to know. I'm taking the odds are too good, 175. My only issue is Barboza Jr.'s layoff. It's a long layoff, dude. It's almost a year because they fought in May. That Times Square card was in May, so almost a year, which is not unnormal for boxers, for some boxers. But here's the thing: Barboza's always kind of had issues with promotional companies. Always, like throughout his whole entire career, even Top Rank at the time, like he wasn't supposed to be that guy. Was undefeated, had some issues, left Top Rank. You know what I mean? And listen, this is a huge fight for him, and I can't wait. Like I can't wait to see him at 147. And Kenneth Sims is not going to be an easy fight. This one goes the distance, Brian, in my opinion.
Barboza, by the way, 3-inch reach advantage.
Okay,
he's surprising.
Bro, he's gonna use that. He's gonna use the distance, and he's gonna get to the body. Barboza's very good at that. He's got good footwork too. Like if the best attributes of Barboza was not shown against Teofimo Lopez.
I was surprised when I looked at the dimensions because I was like, Kenneth Sims is taller, so I wonder if he has a reach advantage also naturally, right? He's 5'10", 69-inch reach, so 5'9" reach. Barboza has a 6-foot reach. He's 5'9". Barboza's a little shorter. It's crazy. I'm like, oh, so 3 is not nothing. But Kenneth Sims, like he'll get dirt. He'll get not dirty, like actually dirty, but like he'll get on the inside if he has to. Like I could see him trying to like hit him in the body, so to speak. As Arnold Barboza tries to use the ring, move around the ring, use his jab, his 1-2 combination. Obviously, it's a great straight right hand.
Yeah, he's got to use his jab a lot in this one. Whoever establishes the jab first in this one is going to win. But I just think Barboza, the IQ is higher than Kenneth Sims. I'll say that. But we've never seen him go in this weight class. So that's going to be the interesting point for me, the interesting factor. How does Arnold Barboza look after a long layoff at 147? But at plus 175 by decision, got to roll with my guy. Brian, you're not going to bet on this fight, but can you give us a winner who you think is going to win? Come on,
Barboza.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll lean Barboza. I'm not actually going to bet on it, and don't hold me to my prediction because Kenneth Sims looked good in his last. Kenneth Sims looked better, so I kind of want to, but like
let us know, mandatory friends. We want to know. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and say that Barboza Jr. wins this one. Your boy though, Oscar Collazo. Oh my God, what are the odds? I've never seen that.
And my girl Gabriela Fundora. These are two. These are legitimate. I'm not even joking. These are two of my 5 to 10 favorite fighters in boxing right now.
100%. Because I just love the weight class that Oscar Collazo fights in as well. And Gabriela Fundora. Listen, she could be on the men's pound for pound list. Like she's legit.
I gotta show you the photo of them from before the press conference. She's so tall compared to these dudes. But Oscar Collazo is defending his
She's really good though too, dude. Like she's just skilled. She's got the power. I'll say this.
Oscar Collazo, real quick, just so people know, is defending his because I haven't even mentioned the fight yet.
Yeah.
It's defending his WBO, WBA, and Ring Magazine titles in this fight because he is a unified champion, which is why he's on my pound for pound list. He's 13-0 with 10 knockouts. He's fighting Jesus Haro, excuse me, who Jesus is. Never been stopped before. Tough dude from California. Very, very tiny, 5'2". Also not a big
that's
puncher.
my height. Yeah.
Not a big puncher.
Oscar Collazo is going to finish this quick, Brian.
Has lost 2 of his last. You think he's going to stop him for the first time?
I think he's going to stop him. Yeah, and I think it's going to happen in the middle rounds 5 through 8. I think Oscar Collazo, like competition-wise, it's too good. Like the skill set is there. The power is there. I got him in rounds 5 through 8. I was wondering if you could check that after, but go ahead. I know you're going to bring
we'll get to that. And then obviously you have who arguably is like you could argue she's the pound for pound best on this card, Gabriela Fundora.
She should be headlining. That's what I think. Or even Oscar Collazo, because that's for a title.
5'9" and a flyweight. So unfair. The fucking Fundoras, man, are so like they're ridiculous.
I'll say this. You guys got to hear this, because like most of the time, I kind of gas myself up against Bryan, and I talk about like being in different weight classes, and I always go like, yeah. There was somebody at a strawweight where I was like, I can't believe she doesn't have any knockouts. Like if I was 15 years younger, you know, I could knock her out. And Bryan's always like laughing at me. Gabriela Fundora would beat the ish out of me. Like knock my ass out cold at 115. Because you know, like I would be out cold. I'm just saying, like
I'm between like right today I'm 145.
Yeah.
She probably knocked me out, I'm sure. Because like she's taller than me.
No, she's just really good. Like I would be knocked out in the first 10 seconds of this fight.
She's taller than I am by like an inch, but still taller than I am. You know what I mean? We're about the same reach, I think. 17-0, 9 knockouts, undisputed, and the ring champion at flyweight, one of the best pound for pound. She's fighting Viviana Ruiz Corredor, and good luck.
I'll say
Australian
this,
from Colombia, huh? You don't see that a lot.
No,
10-2, 5 knockouts, both by decision. Best. She's 43. Jesus Christmas. Jesus, I agree. Matchmaking, not the best.
Not at all.
Gabriela Fundora is a fucking demon, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, because she dresses like a fucking teenager and she'll beat the shit out of you. Like, she's incredible. Honestly, Gabriela Fundora, Sebastian Fundora too, by the way, does the same. They both dress like they're in high school, and they'll beat the fucking piss out of you.
You know, I gotta admit, I think I could dress a little bit more like a grown adult sometimes. You know, sometimes I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't dress like a high school kid. You know, but just saying. You know, just want to throw it out there. I will say this in terms of the fights, and Gabriela Fundora, I'm going to take her in rounds 7 through 12.
I mean, just look at this photo.
Oh man, look at those short kings. Hey, don't do that to these short kings right here. That's Oscar Collazo. He's a short king. You know,
listen, I can't make height jokes generally. I'm short amongst like people I work with. I work in sports, so a lot of the people are going to be much taller than 5'8". Which is what I am.
Ryan is tall to me, so to me you're tall. You know what I mean? Short. I would not say that you're short. But Oscar Collazo, I mean, come on, he's
5'2". He's
a short king, man. You know, you got to say that. Just saying.
But and she first of all, and she's wearing heels on top of that, so she's
like 6 foot.
She's 5'9", but she's about 6 foot here.
Because she's got to be wearing at least like 3.5. Like you don't want to wear lower than that; it doesn't look good.
So like if Oscar Collazo was standing next to Caitlin Clark, who was wearing like her regular kicks, or Paige Beckers, this is about what it would look like. Yeah. You guys should see me stand beside Dominique Malonga. They gave me, I'm not gonna lie to you, they gave me like a apple box to stand on top of, and it still wasn't good enough. I was like, God damn it! And I was wearing like 5-inch heels, and I was like, God, and I was still short. 5, damn.
Well, I'm short, so I'm extremely short, so I can wear really, really high heels and
that shit don't hurt.
Always get away with it. I'm used to it, you know, because I'm short. So like if you're and heels just look better, like higher heels look better, I think, if you're short. Like if you're like 5'10", it's like
for people who don't know, Dominique Malonga, because Shantelle was doing the sidelines for the Seattle Storm last year in the WNBA. Dominique Malonga is 6'6", dunks regularly, by the way, for men who are interested in women dunking. Dunks all the time.
Yeah.
And had another one actually recently at Unrivaled before the season ended.
A nice
one. And Shantelle had to interview her a bunch because of her job. And with the heels, she would be a foot shorter still, is what you're telling us.
I was just like, damn it. Like I've never been so disappointed in myself ever, because I was like, I got the heels on today. And they put me on an apple box, and it was still like embarrassing.
By the way, that's an aside. The way I feel about Gabriela Fundora in terms of how good she is and can be, I'm basically the same with Dominique Malonga. So for people who watch the WNBA also, I don't know how much boxing WNBA crossover is there. As far as
I'm gonna ask
watch and listen to this, there should be.
If there is a season, I'm gonna ask some of the players if they watch it.
If there is a season, yeah. Because,
I hope so.
Malonga's the truth, and so is Gabriela Fundora.
And I'll say
just
this,
crazy. Like by the way, her opponent is 5'2" also.
Yep. And really quickly, though, I do also want to mention that I think she's going to get the knockout victory round 7 through 12, Brian. It's going to happen.
Let's look at that.
Make a parlay with me. I've been actually on a hot streak, by the way. But
really, I was like 23-10 the first 2 weeks after the All-Star break, and now I'm like not great this week. I'm like 3-5, 3-6, something like that.
I've been hitting like legit crazy parlays like every other day.
I've had multiple bad beats. I got hooked on 2 things. I lost Hornets -3 on a half-court buzzer beater to end the game. They won by 2. It was just been ridiculous.
You know what I only bet on? Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So Collazo, you liked 5 through 8.
Yeah.
Group round betting. There has to be the alternate group round betting. Here somewhere. No? Are you guys not going to offer me this? Oh, wait. Go to rounds. Duh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So 1 through 6 is -110.
Bruh. Yeah. I think it happens in the middle rounds. Is there any alternate rounds group betting?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what I would take, 5 through 8. Oh, is it living here in the city? I don't know. Plus 155, those are good odds. You pair that up with Arnold Barboza, 175. Things are looking up.
Okay, let's build that. Let's actually do this. So we're going to hit that. We're going to go to, these are all the, Najee Lopez tomorrow on Pro Box. I'll be watching that after the World Baseball Classic. You know I like Najee Lopez. Let's go to Arnold Barboza Jr. This is going to be the Shantelle parlay of the week.
Yeah, bet with me.
Sponsored by nobody yet. Sponsored by nobody yet.
Yeah. If you want to sponsor the show, let us know.
You should do the parlay segment. Gabriela Fundora rounds. You said
7 through 12.
6 through 10?
I want to do 7 through 12.
Well, it's not 12, but like.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
How are they going to break it out? Do they have
alternate group round? Let's see. Popular. Maybe it'll be here. Method of it. No, we'll get this right. Or apparently not. So wait, do you not have alternate? Do you not have group round betting here for?
Oh wait, they have it right there.
Oh yeah, but 1 to 2. These are 2 round intervals. Oh no, what?
let's just take Gabriela Fundora by knockout then.
Total rounds in the fight. Do you want to go under 5.5 rounds?
I want to go over.
Nah. Yeah. Over 5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Plus 11.95. You do 10.
Ooh, that's not bad. 119. That's gonna buy you some groceries.
That's it's like very specific. If this hits though, I'm not doing it, but
yeah,
have a blast. I hope you win.
Thank you. I'm like an addict at this point. Okay, I'll say this.
Okay, don't say that. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I know. I don't need any help. I don't need any help. Okay, I'll say this though. I think this card, matchmaking wise, not the best, other than Barboza and Kenneth Sims. I will say this though.
Salome.
Yeah. So what does Salome say? All right, let's go to Salome. Actually, hey, you guys.
Coppinger Master. Should we play that?
We could really quickly before we get out of here. We've almost done 2 hours, guys.
It's 7 minutes.
Okay. Oh no, that's a lot. What do you think?
Have you seen it?
I've seen clips of it.
Watch the whole thing.
Okay.
Salome, I saw it. I was waiting with fucking. Oh my god! Because just in short, Coppinger. Well, I forget who called out who first, but it led to Coppinger basically saying that Luke is like self-righteous and all this shit and whatever, which is just code for like Luke has morals. Yeah. Because Luke is like, he does what he does fully independently, because it's like, you know, it's hard to get a job in this industry when you stand for the right things, which is crazy to think about. But Mike Coppinger has developed the reputation of a bootlicker, in other words. And Luke just let him fucking have it 7-8 minutes. And it was tremendous.
I'll say this though. I think it's hard to have a job in this industry and just be fully authentic yourself. Like your views,
It's difficult.
all of it. You can't do it. You'll get flagged. You'll get canned. Like you just can't. You can't do it. You know. So it's like it's always like this. Like you can say some things that you feel, but like you got to be extremely careful because it's a small business. You can get blackballed, and someone might not like your views and then not rock with you, or you might, you know, get someone mad. So it's like you have to be so careful and like walk on an eggshell sometimes. Sometimes you want to speak out on things and you just can't.
Or you have to be careful about where and how you do it. Like I say all the things I say here, but I'm still careful about being super flagrant. Like at the end of the day, like y'all know where I'm at with social issues and political issues by now. I also work at the Post.
That's true.
The sports section, not the news section, which I tell people all the time, like the people who work in the sports section are not the same people who work at the news section, obviously. But at the same time, like that's the situation, right? But I say all that to say, like, I don't do what like Max Kellerman does, for example, where I'm putting over like Max Kellerman like took the money from the Saudis and is now turning that into like I'm going to do like basically PR for the organization. You know, and I think it's different when you work in maybe a media / journalism / tabloid company, because you have to also understand like the Post has while we have our sport, they also have Page Six. And Page Six, I wouldn't say is the same as the news section either. You know what I mean? So that's sort of the makeup there. But enough about me. Slalomi also says, is Max Kellerman on that same path? The guy is, wow, astrogliding his mouth for TKO.
This is a good one. I don't think Bryan does any. Salome says, Bryan, what's the most racist headline you pitched for the Post? Bryan is very far from racist. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, never. I literally never have. I am an editor on the sports section sometimes, but I tend to not do like I usually do like for example, actually, I've weirdly had a bunch of Raiders stories lately because y'all just keep being in the news.
Bruh. First off, fuck the Ravens. Number two, that's the only place I can really say it is on the show. I'm like genuinely myself on the show. You don't get polished Shantelle on the show. But I will, you don't. Like, I'm like a mess on the show. I'm gonna keep it real. This is not how I am on TV. I'm like two different personalities. I'll say this though. I think for the Raider stuff, it's interesting because like they're in Vegas and they're in Nevada, and that's a swing state. And so I have a bunch of followers that are not politically aligned with me. And another thing, like I get a lot of racist comments. Yesterday, some Ravens fans were coming at me, making racist comments and saying, nice weave and all this stuff. Like that's targeted to a certain group of women. Right. They're disgusting people, Baltimore Ravens fans. And I hope they never win anything ever again. And honestly, their jerseys are lame.
Really?
Their jerseys are lame as hell, bro.
You don't like the black and purple?
Not anymore. I don't like anything about Baltimore. Okay? I don't like anything about that team. They're shady.
Hold on. Baltimore gave us The Wire.
I think Breaking Bad's better now. I think The Sopranos is better. Sopranos is actually really good. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Sopranos. So okay, I have to finish because I've started a long time ago. I just never like
so good.
during COVID. Like I should have sat down and watched it. I never finished Breaking Bad either.
Bro,
like I'm bad with TV, bro.
I'm telling you, those are two of the best shows. And right now, I like it better than The Wire.
I want to. Severance is another one I got to see. Sopranos is the one I want to finish the most. Like I know what happens, right? But I need to finish it. My dumbass is finishing Tires, season 2, which is season 2 is funny. Season 2.
I'll start it.
That's the Shane Gillis show on Netflix. It's funny.
Yeah.
Season 2 is funny. Season 1 is like very fucking weird.
Season
2, they kind of figure it out.
See, this is another thing. If you want us to do extra videos, we could do extra videos on so many other things.
Anything.
Yeah.
We will literally just turn on the mics and go, and it could literally just be your comments if enough of you want this. Like we'll do it.
And by the way, thanks to everyone that rocked out and joined the show and watched us today. If you're gonna like this after, like the content, we weren't able to really have longer shows like the last 2 weeks. Because we live in the city, our buildings have a lot of work being done on it. So sometimes the time changes, but we will be with you every Thursday, usually, unless something changes, we'll tweet about it. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when you can rock with us. And please drop your comments. We see all of them. So we definitely want to know how you're also going to be betting on that Golden Boy card. If you're going to be betting, who you got, and what you actually think is going to happen for Arnold Barboza Jr. if he wins or if he loses.
Salome says, it seems boxing skews conservative. Michelle Joy Phelps made an IG post on Charlie Kirk. I mean, so did Mitchell Robinson. I don't think basketball necessarily skews conservative, although Mitchell Robinson himself, like he a country.
I heard a lot of the NBA players are conservative, which I thought like there was a report or something.
No, it's I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was a study. A lot of NFL players are, but it's kind of a mixed bag. More of the NBA players are lean left and right. Now, I'm not going to tell you NBA players are like true leftists or socialists, because at the end of the day, they make a lot of money. They might not be, but I would say more of them will probably like be on that wave than the alternative, compared to like football or baseball.
Football, I could see a lot of people being right. I'll just say that, right? They do make more money, so that's the only reason.
There's charts on this.
Okay, so now it's getting political, but that's the only reason I would ever vote Republican or conservative up here in Canada, because I don't get to vote in the States. I obviously vote here in Canada. I've never voted conservative in my life, and I never will.
Me either.
Ever. And I don't care. I don't even care how much money I make. I'm never voting that way.
Yeah, I can't, especially now. You just can't. Just like it's just because it ain't like what it used to be, right?
It's different.
It's gotten really extreme.
Yeah,
especially on the right.
I mean, it's just it's different in Canada and the US though. Like
Salome mentioned the Michelle Joy Phelps. Didn't she I know she's done boxing reporting. Isn't she?
She's done a bunch of boxing reporting, dude. She has like her own channel where she covered all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not what I'm getting at.
Oh, whatever.
Jesus, what do you mean JJ Watt? That'll buy me time or something.
He's saying JJ Wright is a Republican.
JJ Watt is right.
Nick Bosa is a Republican.
Is JJ Watt?
I could see that.
Nick Bosa definitely is. Is JJ Watt also? Nick Bosa definitely. Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. Like that's like.
Hey, I think Max Crosby is. He took a picture with Trump.
Them dudes secretly like that shit, man. And he speaks to football players specifically. Football players are like, they have that militant mindset.
Football is very American.
Yeah, and American culture is essentially like military culture.
Yes.
You know,
very
like,
much so.
That's why Major League Baseball is boring compared to the World Baseball Classic.
Oh,
that's why the NFL players are the way they are. No,
by the way, we're hyped for Friday. I was trying to find my Canada jersey to wear on this episode. My World Baseball Classic hat came in. They're taking on the US 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I can't wait for this game, Brian. Like I'm hyped for this game. Just saying. If you're watching the World Baseball Classic, let us know. It's been phenomenal to watch. It is all the time.
Okay, Michelle Joy Phelps is not who I was thinking of. All right, thank God I stopped short of finishing that sentence.
Were you thinking of Michelle Beadle?
No.
Okay, great.
There's another boxing reporter who's like done stuff, like legit stuff on camera, who took a pivot.
Oh, I know who you're talking about there too.
But I don't remember who the person. I'm blanking on who the person was. Jesus says JJ Watt criticized Bad Bunny. Did he?
I love JJ Watt. I can't believe he did that. I'm like a JJ Watt fan, so that's upsetting.
Look, I'm not gonna tell you that we're right about everything. I'm just telling you where we're at with it.
I'll say this thing. I try not to look at political views for some of my favorite athletes. But remember, like, that's why you're not supposed to idolize these people, right? But I try not to look at that, because if that was the case, I probably wouldn't get along with a lot of people and what they do. And what they do
Kanye West fans.
And I'm a Mike Tyson fan. Like, as a woman, like, you know, why would I be like, I fell in love with boxing because of Mike Tyson. That's why I want to do the show. I'm the biggest Derrick Rose fan. You have no idea. I am the biggest. So like, I try not to like be like, oh, like I love JJ Watt. So for me to hear that he's right, I'm just gonna let him respect his views.
I don't actually know that, so I don't want to be irresponsible. I mean, he definitely has the traits, but I'm not gonna be too judgmental here. Um, I I gotta fix. There's somebody who I'm thinking of that it's not that maybe it's not her or whatever. But
Salome, let's go to this one. This is really interesting. Salome, any news about Saudi cutting back funding to the war? Saudi's going to have to make a decision too in this war.
Salome really gets the show,
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
Salome, you get
Jesus
us
as well.
Yeah, and by
Life
the way,
lessons also, and other people who we tend to see so often.
by the way, really quickly, I just want to say everyone that rocks with the show leaves comments like Salome, Jesus is like a day one. You know what I mean? Like, we actually appreciate you. And Jesus, I know you've been on the Raiders show and you ask questions, and I'm not able to get to it. I will eventually. So just so you know. But yeah. Brian, any final thoughts? We've been here for an hour and a half. This was due though, yo, because like our shows were so short the last 2 weeks, and we had so much to say.
Yeah. And we'll definitely have to get clips up for this one because we went everywhere.
And by the way, the clips are my fault. I've been so busy doing stuff.
Yes, she's
haven't
been traveling.
And Brian never tells me like, yo, put up the clip. You need to start doing that.
I forget. I forget.
You don't want to
like,
be
she
mean.
got it.
You don't want to be mean. You can be mean to me at this point.
No.
At this point, it's been years. You can tell me to do my job. I will say this though, really quickly, guys. You know, we do appreciate all of the support, and this year I do want to do a watch along for a fight.
100%.
So if you want us to do, if there's a particular fight you guys want us to do a watch along for, please let us know, because I think that would be really fun just to hang out and watch the fight together. Try
not to pick a pay-per-view one, because I feel like for that legal reasons that could be difficult. Whatever.
We should do like a Matchroom DAZN one. I'm telling you, because they put fights on all the time, and I feel like they have the best nerdy fights, which is like our core, you know, friends of the show.
Yeah.
Because everyone that actually watches the show is like extremely intelligent, in my opinion.
And we'll find a spot to do a post-fight live soon.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll do one this month. We'll see though.
Yeah. Anyways,
if we do, it'll be on our page. We'll have it and we'll tweet it out and stuff.
Yeah. Brian, I'll let you have the final thoughts, as you always do.
Hopefully Puerto Rico and Canada win in the World Baseball Classic on Friday.
Let's go.